Welcome to the Tell Our Stories podcast. I'm Steph Bender.
And I'm Perry Chris. On today's episode, we're meeting Scout, the rescue dog turned resident at Meadowbrook Care Facility in Bel Air, Michigan.
In 2017, Scout was living in the local animal shelter. One night, he decided to escape the shelter, jump a 7-foot fence, cross a 2-lane highway, and finally settle down on the couch in the entryway at Meadowbrook Care Facility.
Once the residents noticed him there, they called the shelter and he was returned to his kennel. But that didn't stop Scout.
2 more nights that same week, Scout repeated his daring escape, always ending up on the same couch.
Eventually, they took the hint and started the process to adopt Scout and make him the household's newest resident.
7 years later, Scout is still living happily at Meadowbrook, and it's hard to say who's happier about that, the residents and staff, or Scout himself.
Today, you'll hear from Shirley Sawyer, one of Scout's favorite residents, as well as household coordinator and dietary manager Jenny Martinek.
So sit, stay, and listen in to our discussion with Shirley and Jenny.
And if you listen closely, you can hear Scout napping at their feet. Okay, well, again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk with us. We're really excited to be able to talk about Scout and about how you guys have been able to provide such a great home for him. As Steph mentioned, this is our first episode, so we're really excited to get into this and be able to share this story.
Well, we are honored to be here. My name is Jenny Martinek, and I am the household coordinator, dietary manager for Glacier Hill House on the household that Scout resides on.
I'm Shirley Sawyer, and I've lived around this area all my life. I was born over by Bel Air.
So Shirley, I take it that you and Scout are pretty good friends.
Yes. Yeah, he's always looking for. My walker has a pocket in it, and I know what he wants as soon as he comes up to me. He wants me to look at the door and let him have a biscuit.
Shirley and Scout have a very great bond. It's amazing. He goes and checks on her multiple times a day, and of course, there's always
a treat for him if he wants one.
Shirley, were you there when Scout first came into the facility?
No.
Scout came into the facility back in 2017.
Okay.
So he's been here for a while.
Yeah.
He's a tenured resident.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite, but close. But before Shirley was here, her brother resided here on the same household, and it was him that started out having that bond with Scout. And so it took a little while, but he convinced Shirley to come live here as well, and that she would really enjoy it because of Scout. And he wasn't wrong. He's no longer here with us, but Shirley watches over Scout for him.
Oh.
He's such a good dog. He's more like a companion than just a dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems to know when you don't feel so good, and and I always know when he's been in my bed because there's a nice pile of covers all together like a dog does.
Yeah.
Is he a part of your daily life? Like the activities you get to do in the community?
Well, he's just always here looking.
Always.
He kind of goes from room to room, and just like he's checking on everyone.
Yeah.
He knows where the beds are that he can get on. Some of the ladies don't want him on their bed, so he finds a room that will let him on the bed.
Oh, but he knows he can go on your bed.
Yes.
Quite often.
I think Scout thinks that Shirley's grandma.
Oh.
Yeah. But Scout, he knows all of his residents, all of his staff. He's always on guard. Whenever the doorbell rings, he is the first to be there. He barks. He's the meet and greet. He's got to check every new person coming in to make sure that they're safe and he just lets everybody know that he's always on guard 24/7, checking in, making sure that they're okay to enter into his house.
So besides Dorman, does Scout, what's his daily life look like besides, checking in on the residents and the door, honestly?
He, like Shirley said, is he just goes from room to room, activity to activity. His bed, his food, his water, his toys all reside in the den, which is where my office is located. And so if I'm here, he tends to follow me. But when I'm not here, then he's out and about. And there's one gentleman that in the evening, he sits behind him at the dinner table, just, keeping an eye on him, keeps an eye on the door, keeps an eye on everybody, making sure everything's okay. He's 24/7, one eye open, one eye shut, protected always. He's gentle, but yeah, he's the sole provider or protector out here in his eyes anyway.
That's fantastic.
That's one good thing about him. He does not jump on you. You know how dogs get excited and they jump on you.
No, he's gentle, isn't he?
He's good for the resident because most of them couldn't hold his weight, if he jumped on them. She just wants to see what you're doing and just greeting you, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like he's got a great big house and he's got a great big family and he loves each and every one of them. And he has a routine with each and every individual, and that routine is different with each and every individual. Like Shirley was saying, he knows when he can, when he's in Shirley's room, the rules are a little bit more lax and he can pretty much do whatever he wants because Shirley lets him. She spoils him, and he knows that when he sees her, that if he barks at her, she's going to give him a treat. But now he's so spoiled that one treat isn't quite enough. He needs two. So,
well trained.
Yeah, he trains us actually, and we reward his bad behavior sometimes. We'll have a care conference meeting, and of course he's got to be a part of it. And he'll get up in the middle of a care conference and start barking and staring at his dog biscuit. And until we stop, until we give it to him, he won't stop barking. So it's all our fault a little bit too.
He's just a little bit spoiled.
A lot spoiled. Yes, he is.
Do you wish there were more dogs around Meadowbrook, or is Scout just the right amount of dog?
I think one. One.
We currently in a different household. We have a cat.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Scout would like to play with the cat. The cat wants nothing to do with Scout. But we have brought other staff members have brought their dogs into the household. He does okay. Like if we go out into the courtyard and they play, but he's not real fond of sharing his toys, his bed, his food. It would be quite an adjustment. We do have, though, a therapy dog that comes in regularly on a weekly basis, and goes to all of the other households. So the residents get to visit with him. But when Scout resides on one of the households, our facility is broken into 7 different households, and each of them have like a main entry door. And so when somebody is doing their admission paperwork, the first question when we have an open bed here on Glacier Hill is, do you like dogs?
Understandable.
So we make sure that when they're coming into this household that, we don't have somebody that's deathly afraid or allergic coming into our household with a dog. We don't want them to be uncomfortable in their home as well. So in that aspect, I think you couldn't have a dog on every household just because there are people who are allergic to dogs, to cats, who are scared, who just don't like them. And
Sure.
so you have to have options.
Yeah, that was one of my questions was how do you handle having a dog on the property? I know some, right, would love it and some maybe are more hesitant to having a dog in their
Exactly. And that goes
space.
with the staff as well. I mean, there are
Mhm.
staff that are just deathly afraid to have been bitten by a dog in their lifetime and don't want to work on this household.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, we work around that, and then we have those that just adore animals. And so it works out for us. It's a lot of it gives balance. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if Meadowbrook is very unique in that sense, where I've not really heard of dogs being a part of a community. Has
yeah,
anyone come to you asking for questions, or how you even got started with
you know,
Scout?
I don't know if not facility wise,
Mhm.
but community wise. Well, we get lots of questions on how we handle different things and how we do things. Possibly the administrator may get some of those questions,
Mhm.
but not myself. I haven't had to express any of that to anybody.
Yeah, I think that's a perk in my eyes. I think I would definitely be drawn to a community that had animals and was full of
I
love that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I can't imagine not having him here every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he is getting up there in age. He's
Mhm.
10 now.
Oh
And
wow.
so when anybody says anything, I say, I don't want to talk about that. We're not going to
Yeah.
talk.
I was gonna
So
ask, based on his temperament, he sounds like a pretty relaxed dog. He respects, their boundaries when it comes to jumping. So yeah, 10 years old, that's a hard one
Mm-hmm.
for
yeah,
dogs.
yeah. But he's very healthy, doing
Yeah.
well.
That's great. Jenny, were you there when Scout first hopped the fence?
I was here at Meadowbrook. I was not the one to find him.
Sure.
It was during the nighttime hours. And
Mm-hmm.
so our nighttime nursing supervisor is the one who happened upon him in our lobby. But yes, I was here. And so me and one of the clinical care coordinator, which is a nurse out here, we kind of work as a team in our
Mhm.
household. And our administrator, when he kept jumping the fence 3 times over and kept showing up at Meadowbrook, we had, tossed the idea around about possibly getting a pet for the facility, but, just tossing it around, nothing real serious. And so when she came and said, hey, I think he's choosing us, who wants to take on this responsibility in their household? Our household kind of stepped up and said, hey, we'll try. And so the rest is history. He's been here on Glacier Hill ever since, and he's been a great fit.
That's fantastic. How long did it take him to adjust to being in the facility, being in the
Um,
household?
it took probably a couple months, maybe. The hardest part for us is he was a stray, obviously, so we didn't know
Yeah.
anything about him.
Sure.
And he was very timid at first, very nervous.
Mhm.
Trying to find out what type of food he liked. We must have went through half of a grocery store trying to figure out what kind of food that he would eat.
He's a picky guy.
We tried all the best, most nutritional foods out there that you could possibly do. And like a last resort, I tried a small bag of kibbles and bits, and that's what he loved, which
Well,
I
there
was
you
like,
go.
goodness, oh my goodness. And so kibbles and bits it is. I sometimes I'm kind of like embarrassed to say, just because there's so much out there that's more nutritional, but getting him to eat it was almost impossible.
He likes what he likes.
Yeah, it just
That's
goes
what
to
he liked.
show
He
Meadowbrook
likes
has the
that.
best food.
He does, don't get me wrong, he does like his bacon. He has
Of course.
residents will save their order an extra piece of bacon in the morning. We did put him on a little bit of a diet because he was getting a little chubby. But his favorite are milk bone gravy biscuits.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure he eats his weight in those.
Shirley, are those the ones that you have with you on the walker?
Yeah. The gravy biscuits.
Oh, the gravy biscuits.
Yeah.
I have some in my walker, and I know when he comes up behind me, he'll put his paw on my leg, and I know what he wants.
Not a lot of mystery there.
Hold it, I'll have time for a biscuit, and give him one, and he'll take it and lay down and eat it.
He's got a lot of fans. Last year when we did a fundraiser for our local animal charities in his honor, we developed a lot of fans throughout the whole country, even across the world, even like Australia, even, and so forth. And even today, he received a present in the mail. He got a toy and a big dog bone, which he opened himself. And so he's so spoiled.
He really did choose wisely with the best
He
home.
did. He did.
But
getting back to when he first got here, there were some triggers. Like our maintenance man was a trigger. He would start to shake and the hair would stand up on his back. There was something about a blue uniform and the keys jingling on their side hip. And it was just, you could tell he was so frightened. So something in his past, he was shot. He's got some BBs in his cheek. We've had him checked out, but of course, they don't cause him any pain. So there's something in his history. We've adjusted our way of things, like our maintenance guys. I don't even see them wear blue anymore, but the keys, they would make sure that they took them off their belt loop before they come into the household, and they would carry snacks in their pockets to welcome him. And so yes, it was an adjustment at first, but it only took a few months, and it's been pretty smooth sailing ever since.
Was there any pushback to getting Scout in the community from, other administrators or residents themselves?
I would not say from administrators or the community. There definitely at first, change is hard for some individuals. And so adding Scout to the daily chore list for the staff on some level was a little difficult. Not everybody was receptive to it. Over time, it changed.
He grew,
and now he's just part of the household. He's part of the responsibility. But of course, you always encounter a little bit of resistance with change. But
yeah, I know that in our preparations for talking to you today, I mean, this story, we are not the first people to hear about this story. I've seen this story on, Detroit Free Press. I saw an article on USA Today. What was that like when this story started getting so much media coverage?
What do you think, Shirley? Last year, when we were, seemed like we were doing an interview a couple times a week, we had the big shots from New York here.
A lot of people came to see him.
I remember Shirley was a little nervous for that one because we had like all of, the makeup people here, the big
full glam,
I don't know, speakers above us and the lighting, and they were recording live back to New York. That was a little nerve-wracking, wasn't it? It was. I mean, memorable, something that we laugh about now, and it's a good memory. But yeah, it was a little bit intense for a while.
But what an incredible and unique experience. I mean, not many residents get to have the full New York setup.
Yeah.
Right.
One good thing that stands out with me. He doesn't jump on you, you know, like a lot of
Mhm.
dogs do. When you meet them, they're excited and they jump on you. And he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big dog. He could knock a lot of the people down because
Sure.
they couldn't take the force of him jumping on him.
Oh.
He is so good.
Mm.
He's one of the
wonderful with
residents.
the
He
people.
just knows.
Yeah, he's one of the
He's part of the family.
part of the
Part of the
family.
family.
Exactly.
And right now he's lying on the floor sleeping. He's right here.
Living the dream.
It's really hot here today, and so we
yeah.
were outside watering flowers earlier, and so now we're in the air conditioning, and there's something about when he likes to be in a room where people are talking, and
Mhm.
it is kind of like a soothing type thing. It
Yeah.
puts him right to sleep.
He's a homebody.
Yes, that is
Yes.
true.
It's a hot day, so that's awesome. He gets to go out and garden with you.
He does, yes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then in one of the households while we're watering flowers, there's a little like a little fish. I'm calling it a little fish pond, but it's like a man-made little
Sure.
rock. Yeah. And he likes to lay in there and get soaking wet and this little pool.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, especially after a bath. That's when he wants to go.
Oh, well, perfect. That's exactly the
Yes.
right time to do that.
Yes. Or we have a creek that flows through our property here. And it always seems like after a bath, he has to chase a bird and go lay in the creek for a little bit.
Oh my gosh. He sounds like he's changed the life of the residents there. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's a huge part of the community.
He's just a part of our family here, you know,
Mhm.
between staff, residents, and the dog. You know, we're just, you know, we're a big family, aren't we?
Yes.
Yep.
Have you noticed a considerable change in, you know, people's life there? Their how they're feeling?
I think so. What do you think, Shirley? Do you think the dog makes you feel more at home and happier overall?
Mhm.
I think it's a lot of comfort.
Mm.
Can you
To
imagine being
people.
here without him? It'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
would.
Oh,
I could always tell when he's been in my room because the bed covers, you know how dogs dig the cover up.
yeah.
Mhm.
I always
Something
know
to look
he's been
forward
in there
to.
taking a nap.
Yeah.
He is a super good dog,
Mhm.
especially for we don't know what kind of a life he
Mhm.
had before he, you know, came over the fence. But he is really good with the residents.
We don't know his past. It's almost like he was trained for this.
Mm.
There was no training needed.
Mhm.
He just fit.
Mm. That is fantastic.
That's a soul dog right there.
That's a soul dog. Yeah. Clearly,
Yeah.
he found the place he was meant to be.
Yeah, right with the right
Absolutely.
people.
Yep.
Well, you're doing an incredible thing, I think, pioneering. Like I said, I haven't heard of many communities do such a thing. And I'm inspired. I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
say
more
you guys
people.
are carrying the banner quite well.
Mhm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and
I
thank
think
you
it's
for doing
more like a home
interviews.
with the dog here.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, the people have a dog. And it's just part of your life.
Hmm.
He's always around or, you know, in and out and taking a nap. Just
He's just part of the family.
couldn't have a dog that would be better than he is.
We want to extend another big thank you to Jenny and Shirley from Meadowbrook for joining us to share the story of Scout.
If you're interested in finding out more, you can go to their Facebook page, Scouts House and Friends, or find them on TikTok at Meadowbrook MCF.
You can follow along our social medias at Tell Our Stories on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, or at TOS Senior Care on X and LinkedIn. If you have a story you want to share with us, send us an email at info@tellourstories.com.
Thank you for tuning in.